What's up, fam? MVPs all over the place in this most recent chapter. The chapter just came out for Black Clover chapter 178. But obviously, anyone that's known about my preferred characters in these reviews, my favorite male character tied up as my favorite character, favorite female character being Leona, but my favorite male character being Zora. And luckily, it wasn't just him as MVP, but Noel as well. And one of my buddies out there who he's a big fan of Nozzle already. He's probably going to be pretty happy that Nozzle got to be a badass this chapter, and we got some backstory with him. So, getting to the chapter, obviously Kivun, that's the name of the elf that Noel fought. We got the name of this chapter. The fight ended, and right when they're like, "All right, cool, let's get Nozzle and Nebra and take them to go get healed up, try and fix them," and then a bunch of elves show up. It's like 6 elves all show up. Noel can't fight this many at once. The elves go in, and I was like, oh man, who's gonna show up and help them? There's no way that they can take on this many. And then I see that trap magic show up. I see that trap magic, and I gotta say it was so exciting to see that jump up within the panel, because one of the most exciting things that most things I'm really anticipating this arc is to see just Zora on his own go out. And it was a little bit rough when we were inside the Midnight Sun's base, because there were too many big shots like directly on him, and all he was going to do was get in the way, and he didn't have time to set up. But clearly he had the ability to set up, get in there for a few minutes and get some spells all over the place, and just reflecting back the magic of the elves blast. And once he took out one, as I said, out of all the lower people, the one that could really just like, without any real hype, because obviously Noelle, she has a lot of hype around her, so her being able to, well, with this huge boost she just got, fight an elf isn't surprising, because we already know she's got some, that she has hype around her from having really high levels of magic. Her mom actually revealed that while she was in the Magic Knights, while she was the captain of, I'm assuming, still the Silver Eagles, she was the strongest captain. So she was, in her time, number one. So again, another super badass chick, getting added to the roster. So I gotta say, I can't say that like her or Nozzle or Noel really got me as excited this chapter as I did just seeing my boy Zora with all those reactions, all those crazy traps, and he's just like talking shit, getting uppity with people, and bringing, like, dragging along some servant healer to heal up Nebra and Nozzle. And even when Solid is just like, what the fuck is going on? Zora's just shitting on him, trying to get him all hyped up, and that's when we get to the flashback, because Nozzle hears the whole thing of like, a Magic Knight captain, a Royal Magic Knight captain, not being able to protect their family, their country, their home. And he has flashback, and he's talking to his mom. She's still pregnant with Noelle at the time, and she talks about how Nebra, Solid, and her feeling for Noelle all kind of inherited their father's water magic, but Nozzle is the only one that inherited her metal magic, because she has, I'm assuming, uh, silver, potentially steel here. I'm just assuming silver. She just has steel quality, but we don't know 100%. I think they called her the Silver Princess of War back when she was still up and fighting, and that obviously gets Nozzle kind of boosted up, getting that mode. You'd think it'd be, oh, here's where he unlocks a new spell, he unlocks his own like beast mode, but actually he uses his Mercury to patch up his wounds and fix himself. So he's got like a temporary kind of banding up something that I instantly thought of. That's, even though I'm not a big One Piece guy, is the way that like Doflamingo held up and like used his strings to like heal up his organs after he got hit by that gamma knife, kind of doing a similar thing, using his ability internally with that level of control to keep himself alive and moving. And once that was there, we got a new spell from Zora. And I really like all Zora's magics because they're all strategically based. And this one, Coward's Revelation with the sick ash magic, made it so Nozzle and Noel could see his all the traps he's got laying around, so they can know where not to be, where to lure the elves into areas when Nozzle was probably gonna or when Zora was probably gonna activate him and such, and Nozzle and Noel were able to turn the tides a little bit. They had that advantage that even though it's 3v, I think 5 at the time, that element of surprise is obviously helping them a lot. And Zora was so awesome. He's just talking about how, like, obviously, even though these guys are, by default, just like these random ass elves, are as almost as powerful, as captain level people. They don't know like complicated magic, something like Zora, because they weren't a war-based society. They were very peaceful, as from what I'm guessing. They weren't as used to battle. They didn't really have complex magic like this because they didn't really need to have complex magic like this. Anybody else with something you have like uh, maybe if you had something like a time mage or something just kind of like naturally pops up versus someone like Nozzle who or Zora who worked on his and altered his magic and kind of fixed it in a specific way for his style of fighting, which is awesome. And I really like seeing what he set up as this big reflection spell on the bottom and on sides. So when Noelle used uh, her Sea Dragon Roar and one of the elves dodged it, and when Nozzle used his Silver Rain and one of the elves like, oh, I'll just put a defense over me and then reflect on the side and reflect on the bottom, so they bounced back and ended up just like knocking these fools down. Zora, his personality, his design, his magic, his strategic abilities, he's so awesome without having to be like a direct like, look how powerful I am guy. He's just such an entertaining character, and I really like that about Nozzle. And obviously Noelle and or I keep saying Nozzle instead of Zora. For Zora, the one that I'm raving about this chapter of just his intense strategic ability and the way that he kind of just holds himself and displays himself in battle is always so entertaining. But obviously, as I was trying to get to, but I kept saying Zora. I kept saying Nozzle's name instead of Zora. But actually, Zora was able to hold that spot for me. But obviously, he wasn't the only MVP. No, Noel and Nozzle still were able to push things along, and there it looks like they're getting a counterattack. Obviously, though, these are smaller elves. We don't know where the big elves are, where Rill's elf, Charlotte's elf, the Langris elf, and everybody, all the big ones are going to be at and how they're going to fare. These are all just, uh, random ass elves. We didn't even find out Kivun's name until this chapter. So, awesome chapter. I really like seeing uh, Nozzle in action, seeing that guy out because we got him in and he almost immediately got taken down, but he's able to get back up in a badass way. Noelle continuing herself and Zora just being the beast that he is and being the entertainment god that he is within the series. I'd say he's the most entertaining person in the series so far because every single time he shows up, he just does the most crazy, like the most crazy and entertaining things with just his expressions, his reactions, the way he talks to people, the way he lays out his style of fighting. I love it. So tell me what you think in the comments below about this chapter. If you like the video, you like my content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you aren't already, if you are, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. I do mostly manga stuff, some anime stuff, theories, and discussion videos. But otherwise, thank you very much for listening. Bye.